I really don't. Just give me a minute. Hi everyone. Yeah, this is gonna be a first episode of something I haven't really thought about it. I guess it's more of unplugged. I should probably write that down. So this is going to be the first video for this sort of thing that I'm trying. It's more of it's more of being real, I guess, and just putting stuff out there so that everyone knows about it. I like to be transparent with some parts of my life. It's not all of it, but if there's any need for me to say something that I should get off my chest, I think this would be the release for me. So here's the story. A few days ago, I was emailed by a company. For confidentiality reasons, I'm not going to say which company this is. Some of my close friends know, but if any of you watch, don't say anything. Don't put it in the comments. Don't share the video and say, I know what company this is. So I got this email from a company and they're looking for employees, right? So as an unemployed fresh graduate, you would want to grab that opportunity to just go for the interviews, take the tests, take all the assessments, go through the interviews, and if you're offered a job right then and there, then good, right? If not, it's okay. You can just wait for their call, you can wait for their text, you can wait for their emails. It really just, sorry guys, I'm a little bit sleepy, but that's how job hunting works here. You just send out your resume or your CV to any company, and every company that you would want to work in, and then you just wait for them to respond. If not, you call them, you email them, you text them, and you pretty much tell them that you're available to work on this day and this, etc. So they called me and they asked me if I was available for assessment. I was like, yeah, I'm available. And of course, that would mean that I'd have to be available the entire day. So that means I have to go through assessments, interviews, and hopefully at the end of it all, like a job offer. And that's important for this next bit. I go to the assessment. It's 2 rounds of assessments. They test you on multiple things. They test you on your comprehension skills, math skills, logical thinking, the way you look at shapes. I don't know. And then you get through all those assessments. If you pass, you will be qualified for the next step, which is the initial interview with their HR department. Now, companies usually do this, after your assessments, they usually call you for an interview, and it's usually with their HR, with their human resources department, or these members of that human resources department. It's how things work here. So HR first. Then so there are usually those times of the interview where they ask you if you have any questions, concerns, clarifications, and this is where I usually tell companies, especially those who are interviewing me, that especially when they don't ask for your availability, you just have to outright say it. Like, whenever they ask you when can you start working, and your initial response would be like, oh, you're available at this month, or you're available the next month, the next week, or like right off the bat you can say, oh, I'm available tomorrow, like I can start tomorrow if possible, right? And it's mostly just because either you want to work or you want the company to know that you're still interested in applying for them. It's just that you can't really take a job now because you have some other stuff going on in your life that you want to settle first before getting a job, right? And they always say just slow down, right? I told the human resources person that, I'm available, starting this month. I won't say when, but the thing is, I have a family vacation that I cannot really postpone. I can't really reschedule because we are actually in September. To be fair, I'm only just a month away from that. so the vacations in October. I won't tell you guys when yet, but the vacations in October, I can't really bail on that now, especially with a month away from the flight. And if I reschedule, it'll cost a lot of money. I explained that to them and say, oh, if ever you get through, you just have to explain that. So yeah, I mean, I went through the final interview. I was given the job offer, and right then and there, I mean, I had to ask again. They had to ask again, like, yeah, I mean, I had to bring it up that I had a family vacation on this time. And the thing is, if I had signed the contract knowing that I'd have to start the Monday, next Monday, so, pretty interesting stuff, right? It's a job. It's actually the first real sense of employment I'd actually have, right? But I thought to myself, like, yeah, I mean, I have a vacation, but if they're willing to just allow me to go through that, and I can come back and catch up on whatever work I needed to do, then, I'd be totally fine signing this contract. So they did tell me to send an email noting all of that, right? So when they told me that, if you can just bring it up, it's totally fine. If you want to sign the contract now, I read through it. I was like, okay, so it's pretty much like a done deal. I signed it, right? And I signed all of it, having understood that, like, all the terms and conditions there, right? And they said that, oh, you should. So there's an orientation the following day. You should probably go. I think you are required to go. So yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go to orientation, but I had to send an email to the head supervisor of the training program that the company was offering for fresh hires, that this is your concern, that you have a family vacation, you might miss very important work while you're gone. How do you try to talk things out, right? And so I go to orientation, so this is the following day, right? I go to the orientation. I learn more about the company, what they're all about. I also learn about more of the compensation compensation package and benefits that come with the job. And to be fair, they're actually pretty good, especially if you're a fresh graduate looking for a first job. Like, the compensation this company provides is really good, no doubt about it. Right? And of course, you will have to undergo through a training program the last 6 months, which is sort of like your employee probationary period. At the time, I already knew that in the orientation they said that ideally you can finish all the training within 3 months if you're that good, right? And if they feel like you're ready for it, then they just regularize you. After all the orientation, they gave us a contract that until now I haven't signed. I've read through it, actually. Well, I have signed it, but because it's still with me and it's not with them, it's not final. 2, my parents haven't seen it. I was going to show it to them today, at the day that I'm recording this. It was actually a Friday. I was supposed to show it to them today if I was already set, but then, like, some events earlier today just made it very difficult, to the point that I don't see this as an opportunity I'd want. So here's the thing. Since I haven't signed the contract and my parents haven't seen it, it technically means that whatever the conditions were, I understood them and I signed it. But since they don't have it, it still means nothing, because I still reviewed it, I still looked at it, my parents are still have to look at it, so they cannot come back to me and say that, and mention one of the provisions there, oh, you have to do this, otherwise we'll penalize you for it. Okay, they don't have that power yet, because I haven't given them the contract, so it's still with me, and that's important. They told me to send an email, because I haven't sent the email, but I eventually sent the email, about my family vacation and the days that I'll be gone from work. Should I go to work on Monday? And the return email said that the return email to me said that they noted it. However, a huge integral part of the training program will be covered at the time that I will be gone. So that basically means that if I go on vacation in October, I would miss out on a huge part of the program, of the training program, and it would be very difficult for me to catch up. I sort of had to choose between whether I had to have the flight, everything, like the entire trip postponed or moved or rescheduled to a later date, or if that's not possible, I'm gonna have to decline the offer from the company. For the job offer to be official, I would have had to sign both documents. So if I haven't signed either one, I'm still technically not employed by the company, even if, there was an employment contract that I had already signed. So basically, just try to clear things up for people. I have signed one contract. I've signed the other, but I haven't given it back. If I had given back both of them by yesterday, which was Thursday, I would have been employed by the company, and it would have been a very difficult situation for me. And I chose to decline the offer, which means within 3 days I went from technically having a job to technically losing it. And it's not really their fault. I mean, I understand that they already had planned this entire program from the get-go. I understand that, and it's not my fault either, because we'd already planned the vacation. I did tell them before we even started the program, right? Like, even before I went to work on the first day, I already told them about it, so that there won't be any complications. And for me, it just sucks because this company, really, I like what they're doing. The position they offered me, it's something that I see myself doing, really. But it just so happens that I can't really take in a full-time job when I still have this vacation. I know people are going to be telling me that you should have just postponed. I mean, you could just reschedule it to a later date, just go to work. You'll be earning money anyway. The thing is, I can't really reschedule the thing a month left before the vacation. If I did that, I would still spend a lot of money just trying to rebook everything. The thing is, I'd rather stick with that first than work as early as now and suffer future complications along the way. What am I trying to say here? For anybody watching this and is looking for a job, it's always been my philosophy, I guess it was my belief at the end of graduation, that I should just rest. I should just take my time. I understand that companies don't really hire immediately when you graduate, unless you're already given a job offer after you graduate. But if you're watching this and you're still looking for a job, that's okay. If you're watching this and you already have a job, that's okay too, right? I'm not here to gather sympathy from people. I'm not here to tell people that you should feel bad for me for going through all of that, going from employed to unemployed within a span of 3 days. My point here is, if you're an unemployed person looking for a job, don't rush into it. Consider the fact that if you have anything else planned for the rest of the year or for the next few months, don't get work. If you don't, that's good. If you're employed, I think some of you might understand what I'm going through, or at least some of you sort of understand from your company's perspective as to why it's important that every work day counts, right? You can't just skip out of nowhere and just come back. And for anyone out there looking for a job, I think it's important that you're transparent with the company as early as just the interview stage, that you have this. If they're interested in you, but you have these sort of plans for the next few months that sort of bar you from working full time, you should really tell them in advance, because it can possibly save you from complications along the way. So I mentioned, right, it's important for you to remember that the contracts for the training program are still with me and I haven't given it back to them. It's because had I given it back to them, I would have paid a huge amount of money if I took a leave from work, and they would tell me on my first day that if you can't make it to the integral parts of the program, then you're gonna have to leave the company. So basically, so that's what happened. I went from being employed for like 2 days to being unemployed again. I guess some of the good news is, if anyone has been following me on my social media, I guess anybody's been looking at some of the things that I post. I'm still trying to make videos for one channel. I'm now a full-fledged contributor for one tech news company. They gave me a rate, so they gave me a commission. They'll give me commission for every article that I write. So initially that was supposed to be like, if this job offer was to push through and I was supposed to take it, that would be my sideline work. Like, it's sort of a passion thing. I like to write. So it's basically just me helping them out after my internship. But this job offer, I had to decline it. I had to decline the offer, but it's okay. I felt really bad about it for like a few hours. Then as I got back home, I just felt a little better. I played a few rounds of Fortnite. I played a few games on my phone. I played a few games, had some time to rest, sort of gather my thoughts. I'm feeling a little better. If anybody's asking, I'm feeling a little better. If anybody's watching this after Friday, just want you to know that I'm feeling a little better, and I'll get through this. Don't worry, I'll get through it. If you like this sort of thing, just leave a like. If you don't like it, it's okay. Just leave a dislike. I really appreciate both positive and negative. If you like it, just click the like button. If you have any comments on it, just go to the comment section, type in your comment, send it. And if you want to subscribe to my personal channel, you can do so. If you want to click the bell, it's up to you. That's Unplugged. I'll think of a better way to end this, really.